Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday News on 3FM 92.7 live from our studios here at Adesawe Kanda, Accra. Coming up this afternoon, true outcome of the Ablekuma North constituency parliamentary result may never be known as fire destroys ballot box papers for the disputed polls. The police have launched investigation into the incident. Meanwhile, the Ghana National Fire Service does not rule out arson.
Even though we can't rule it out that it could have been arson, but we don't want to quickly rush into conclusions. We still want to consider every possible cause of the fire. So when our team received a call,
also this afternoon, National Democratic Congress files court application seeking to prevent Electoral Commission from recollating and redeclaring parliamentary results in 5 constituencies. Later in the bulletin, we tell you why President-elect John Mahama says his government will re-engage the Millennium Challenge Corporation on resolving Ghana's energy crisis. We have details from a meeting he's been holding with the U.S. ambassador to Ghana. We have these and more coming up shortly. My name is Grace Hammoah Agyemang. Stay with us. Let's get the bulletin into it now. The police has launched an investigation into a fire incident at the Kwashiman cluster of schools housing ballot boxes. The Tuesday dawn fire gutted the December 7 ballot papers for the Ablekuma North constituency. The incident comes amidst the current controversy over the Ablekuma North parliamentary election result initially declared for NDC's Irabena Obing. That declaration, according to the EC, is illegal. The police, in a statement, assured the public that anyone found responsible for the fire would be arrested and prosecuted. My colleague Godwin Asiriba is at the Ablekuma North constituency and will be joining us for more on this. Godwin, if you can hear me, what more do we know? All right, we're working the phone to speak to Godwin. And so, still on the issue, the Ghana National Fire Service, meanwhile, says it is not ruling out arson. They say they are investigating the instances which resulted in the burning of the ballot papers and other critical items meant for the school. Alex Kinate is a member of the Public Relations Department of the Ghana National Fire Service. All right, we'll bring you that one also subsequently. Still on election-related issues, the NDC, National Democratic Congress, has sued the Electoral Commission, EC, seeking to prevent the recollation of 5 constituencies that their parliamentary candidate had earlier been declared winners. The action, filed on Monday, December 16, 2024, is seeking an order of judicial review in the nature of declaration, certiorari, prohibition, and injunction. The NDC, which is the first applicant, contends that the declarations made in the December 7 elections in favor of Faustina Elikplim Akrugu in the Dom Kwabenya constituency, Baba Sadiq Okaikwe Central, Irabena Obin, Ablekuma North, EB Bright, Tama Central, and Samuel Abuaje Obuasi East, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th applicant cannot be recollated and redeclared. It argued that the EC, following their earlier declarations, has become functus officio and therefore cannot recollate, recount, and redeclare the result of the already declared election result in the stated constituencies. My colleague Judith Brown joins me in the studio with details of the reliefs being sought by the NDC. Judith, first off, what is informing this court action?
Right, and so Grace, the suit basically is a result of the ongoing disputes over the initial collation process. And so you would recall that the EC had earlier invalidated the results for Dom Kwabenya, Okaikwe Central, Ablekuma North, and Tema Central constituencies, and they cited procedural irregularities. And so on 13th December, if you would recall, the Deputy EC Chair for Operations, Samuel Tete, said that the results were invalidated due to the non-compliance with procedures outlined in CI 127, and he added that the police were present to ensure a smooth recollation process. So these are the reasons why the NDC has gone to court and is filing a suit against the EC, and they're seeking a number of reliefs.
quickly walk us through the reliefs the NDC is seeking.
So basically, it's a long list, about 10 reliefs, but I'm going to give you a summary of each of them. And so basically, the first relief is that the respondent, which is the EC in this case, cannot recollate, recount, or redeclare election results in certain these constituencies, that's the 4 constituencies as I've earlier mentioned, since they've already been declared. They're also asking that the EC is prohibited from recollating, recounting, and declaring the election results in these same constituencies. Their third relief is that they're asking for only the High Court. In fact, this is what they say is supposed to be the case, that only the High Court of Ghana has the authority to invalidate parliamentary election results and not the Electoral Commission. And so basically, they cannot allow that to happen. Their fourth relief is that the Electoral Commission, which is the respondent in this case, should make their declaration that these parliamentary results are invalid is null and void, as it violates the Constitution and other laws, basically CI 127, as has been earlier indicated. They also are saying that the court should quash the respondent's decision to nullify certain parliamentary election results, and this is the Electoral Commission in this case. They're also asking that the respondent's decision to nullify certain parliamentary election results without giving applications a chance to be heard is null and void. Also, they say that the court should quash the respondent's decision to nullify the parliamentary election results due to the breach of the Odi Alteram Partem rule, which is the right to be heard. Basically, that's what it means, Odi Alteram Partem, the right for each side to be heard. And so that's what they're asking for, a quash of the EC's decision to nullify the parliamentary results as a result of that. Also, they're saying that the EC must publish the election results to certain applicants in the Gazette. Okay. And then, the last but one is that the respondent is permanently restrained from recollating, recounting, and redeclaring election results in certain constituencies without a court order. And lastly, they are saying that the court may grant additional remedies as it deems fit. So basically, these are the reliefs that are being sought by the NDC against the EC.
That means the NDC does not want the EC to go ahead and carry out any of these actions unless it has been determined by the High Court.
Exactly.
All right, Judith. We'll see how all of this pans out subsequently. Yeah. Thank you for bringing us those updates. My colleague Judith Brown there. Still on issues related to the aftermath of the election, the NDC in the Northern region says it will challenge results of some constituencies in the region as declared by the EC in the December 7 elections. Bandai, Tolon, Savelugu and Karaga are the constituencies the party intends to contest their results. The NDC won 11 out of 18 constituencies in the Northern region, making them the majority party in the region. My colleague Christopher Macon is monitoring this and joins us for more on this. Christopher, talk to us why the NDC intends to contest the results and declarations in these constituencies.
Yes, so Grace, according to the party, the results are declared by the EC in these constituencies. They do not agree with the outcome because they have their own issues, because they have their results from polling stations which they have tallied, and they believe that they won in these constituencies too. They also believe that the declaration as made by the EC does not conform with the practices of the elections as announced by the EC itself, and so they are going to challenge the results as declared by the EC, and they are only waiting for the Gazette to be done so that they can go to court.
So, Christopher, in the midst of all of these challenges and the fact that the country is also preparing to swear in a new president and a new government, paint for us a picture of the political atmosphere there in the region.
Yes, so for the region has been calm, except for a few instances where we see some party people or youth storm some officers to break into them and loot items. Now, as we speak, even though that has been brought under control by the security services, but some officers and some markets that brings revenue to the assemblies have been taken over by the youth of the incoming administration, even though they are doing that not in violence, but they are making sure that they track every single property that belongs to the state, that they do not want the outgoing government to take even a pin out.
We also know that the youth or the supporters of NDC in Saveledu have been challenging the outcome of the elections. What have they been saying?
Yes, so they've been saying that the Saveledu constituency is one of the constituencies that the party seeks to contend the outcome of the elections. And so they are saying that, look, we won the elections and the EC illegally declared our opponent. And so we are going to contest it, like I said earlier, and that they will go at every length to ensure that the EC does the right thing. Let's take a listen to what the NDC Communications Director for the Saveledu constituency has been saying.
We are only inviting respectfully the Electoral Commission and any other stakeholder, be it minor or major, whereas that particular stakeholder is madly interested in actually satisfying the constitutional principle of free and fair and transparent elections, they must, as a matter of urgency and in the ultimate interest of peace, ensure that the needful is accomplished. And the needful is that we, the NDC in the Saveledu constituency, are not in acceptance with respect to the declaration the EC made, declaring the MPP candidate as the MP-elect for the Saveledu constituency.
Some youth in Saveledu speaking to us there. Well, it's been 10 days after the election, and it looks like the issues that are coming out are ones that are not going to end anytime soon. We'll still be following up and be bringing you more update on this. To other stories now, the Member of Parliament elect for the Akrofrom constituency has given a firm assurance of working towards fulfilling his campaign promise of fixing some major and important roads within the constituency. Joseph Azuma believes his message of improving the road network in the constituency gave him an overwhelming victory over the incumbent Member of Parliament and NPP parliamentary candidate in the area. Akrofrom is one of the 4 seats the NDC snatched from the New Patriotic Party in the Ashanti region. Speaking to 3FM, the MP-elect says he will not have the courage to contest in 2028 if the roads are not fixed.
That was my major campaign message, that the people of Akrofrom are trying roads to be fixed. In fact, we don't have a single kilometer of road, which is very bad as a district and as a constituency. And I stepped in and I told them that I am confident that if they give me the nod as their MP within some 4 years, at most within 4 years, we are going to do this. And that I am very confident that my president, when he came, I told him that I am coming to Parliament, that this is the message I gave to them. And this is the reason they do. What is that reason? That we fix their roads. He gave me the assurance that you don't worry, you just wait for me. And together we fix the road. Now, we are also one. What is left is for us to put our heads together and look for resources. Come fix the roads for them. We may not fix all the roads in the constituency at once, but at least we have the major ones that we need to fix within it. And I am very confident that we are good. But should unlikely event it doesn't happen, then I don't want to contest again. Because if I contest again with this, the nature of the roads doing this the same way in 2028, then automatically we lose the election.
Akrofrom MP, you heard there, Jacob Azuma. Well, to other stories now, the Winneba District Court has dismissed the case against Louise Abuabeng, an independent parliamentary candidate who contested in the recent elections in the Futu constituency. This follows prosecution's failure to gather enough evidence on the charges against the candidate and her campaign coordinator, Dauda Mutalib Mukaziu. For 3 consecutive times, prosecution failed to present evidence of the offense they charged the accused persons with, causing the council to pray the court to strike out the case. Though neither the council nor candidate spoke on record, the team in correspondence with 3FM say they will take action to the state for unlawfully detaining the candidate and their campaign coordinator and seek compensation to the tune of 4 million cedis. Our correspondent Akwesi Ado has been following up on this story. Joins us for more. Akwesi, we know you have been following up on this story in the last few weeks since it began. What more do we know about the case?
Okay, so what we know about the case is that counsel for the 2 accused persons, that is Grace Hammoah Agyemang and then Dauda Mutalib Mukaziu, says he is going to sue the state and then the Ghana Police Service for malicious prosecution, false imprisonment, unlawful arrest, unlawful search and defamation of character, and then also seek for compensation to the tune of 4 million Ghana cedis. he believes that his client, that is the independent candidate Louise Agyemang, and her campaign coordinator were not fairly treated by the state. Now, if you would like to throw back the two persons, that is the Louise Agyemang independent candidate, was arrested on the 20th November while she was at the Winneba High Court to seek an injunction on the December 7 parliamentary election. She was arrested on 27th November, and then on 28th November, she was put before the Winneba District Court presided by Her Worship Joseph Fosua Apia, together with her campaign coordinator. And then the police, when they came to court, charged these two persons for unlawful possession of voters' ID card and conspiracy to commit crime. And then they came under Section 29, Clause 1 of the Electoral Commissions Act, Act 451. But that was contested by their counsel, who held that there was no such act because the EC's Act, Act 451, does not reach Section 29. And so prosecution amended their charges and then came under CI 91, Regulation 29, Sub-Regulation 2. And then the court remanded the two accused persons into a 4-day police custody. So they reappeared on the same court on December 2nd. And then the court granted them bail. But the court set the bail conditions that they were supposed to raise an amount of 50,000 Ghana cedis each, and then also present 3 sureties each, with one of the sureties being a serving police officer within the Winneba jurisdiction and not below the rank of a chief inspector.
All right,
so it became difficult for them to meet that condition, forcing their counsel to seek refuge at the Cape Coast High Court, where they were granted here. So, and it's following this that the court has struck out the case because prosecution is not producing enough evidence.
Kwesi, thank you for those updates. Kwesi Adu is a man in the Central Region updating us on issues happening there. To other stories, President-elect has affirmed his resolve to re-engage the Millennium Challenge Corporation on solving Ghana's energy crisis with a major focus on privatization of ECG that hit a snag under the PDS deal. John Dramani Mahama made this known when the U.S. ambassador to Ghana, Virginia E. Palmer, paid a courtesy call on him. Let's connect with our man who is with John Mahama, Komla Klute on more. Komla, talk to us about this meeting with the U.S. ambassador.
Several envoys have paid a courtesy call on the President-elect John Dramani Mahama. Of much importance today, like he did mention earlier on, is the U.S. ambassador to Ghana. The issue of energy has been a topmost priority on the minds and on the lips of John Mahama, because if you look at energy and how it was trickled down to the very performance of the economy. For instance, it makes a point that if the energy sector debts are paid, that would positively affect the economy as well. But we are aware how the Millennium Challenge Corporation had been engaged under the S.W. John Mahama administration. That compact that was negotiated over $150 million for the privatization of ECG. Well, we know the scandal PDS brought, but in this meeting, John Mahama has been reaffirming his resolve to have a further engagement with the NCC, so doing, having a first visit to the United States of America so that this is brought to fruition. Let's listen to Virginia Palmer and John Dramani Mahama in that engagement a short while ago.
All right, let's listen to John Mahama then.
Of course, we worked on the MCC together, and it's made Ghana's electricity generation sector more resilient than it was before the MCC. As I said, it was just the final part that we couldn't complete together. Luckily, we had the opportunity to discuss with the MCC when we went there to see how we could wrap up that part of our cooperation. And so I think that is something we'll look to start talking about as soon as we come into office after 7th January. Aside from that, on the security front, we know what the issues in our sub-region are. And U.S. has been a long-standing partner in terms of improving our resilience when it comes to security matters. And so we'll look to continue that cooperation in that space. One of my passions now is agriculture and agribusiness. And we'll look to see how we can share technology, share knowledge, and see how we can boost agricultural growth and food self-sufficiency in Ghana.
President-elect John Mahama in that interaction with the U.S. ambassador to Ghana, Virginia Palmer there. Let's take you back to the Ablekuma North constituency, where the police has launched an investigation into a fire incident at the Kwashiman cluster of schools housing ballot boxes. The Tuesday dawn fire gutted the December 7 ballot papers for the Ablekuma North constituency. The incident comes amidst the current controversy over the Ablekuma North parliamentary election results initially declared for the NDC's Irabena Obi. My colleague Godwin Asiriba is in the constituency, in fact, at the fire scene, and joins us with more on this. Godwin, what more do we know about this incident, and are electoral material still intact?
Right, Grace. Here at the Kwashiman cluster of schools, the aftermath of Tuesday's early morning fire is devastating, I should say. The blaze, which broke out at around 1:40 a.m., according to eyewitness, has completely ravaged parts of the two-story building structure that housed Kwashiman 2 Basic School, the Kwashiman Anglican B Junior High School, and the Kwashiman Anglican A Primary and 1 Junior High School. At the moment, the police CID have been able to assess the situation and also cordoned off vantage points so that no one will be able to make their way into the facility. I've also been engaging the head teacher of the school, who made mention that they wouldn't allow any of the students into the facility because they have been told that the building is weak at the moment and is not in a suitable state to accommodate most of the students here. So it means that lessons will be on hold for them for a couple of days before they will be able to look for other means for them to be able to proceed with their lessons. He also made mention that they will be writing their examination soon, so it will be quite a challenge for them. When you come behind the Kwashiman cluster of schools, where we have been told by eyewitnesses here that they spotted some well-built men who had the ballot papers in their possession before it was being burnt right behind the school. They said it has sparked fear in them because right now, as I am speaking to you, I'm standing just right beside most of these ballot sheaves that have been burnt completely to ashes. And it's quite worrying because we saw quite a number of people who were also around making mention of the fact that they had to queue under the caution signs to get to some prints on the ballot papers, and for some individuals to just take matters into their own hands and then burn these materials completely. It's just quite disappointing for them. But yes, that is what is happening here at the moment. But the police is also around ensuring that no individual will be able to make their way into the school premises without coming in to aid in any sort of investigation or anything at all that will lead them to proceed with investigations as well. But we've also spotted some of the seals, both from the NPP and NDC and also the EC as well, that have been completely broken. I'm sure it was broken before they made their way into the ballot boxes to take the sheets out and finally burn them. So that's what is happening here, Grace.
All right, let's listen to the eyewitness you spoke with.
We saw the smoke coming out. We didn't know what was actually happening. So we said, hey, be shy. We don't know what was actually happening, in fact.
Right.
I was perplexed. I don't know. So I was in my boxer when I came out. Then I realized I have to go back. So when I went back to put on this because my wife also were around.
Yeah.
So then we saw police. We saw a whole lot of policemen, some coming from this direction.
But when you came out, you witnessed the burning of the ballot papers here.
Yes, I saw it actually.
Did you see the individuals?
No. The people who have done it have vanished before we came out.
Right.
They have vanished.
So you only saw the papers burning?
I only saw the papers. So we tried going inside. This door was locked. It wasn't locked with padlock. So we pushed it a little bit, effort, and it got open. We went there and we saw the flames over there.
Right.
Real flames now. Then thereabout, we just for a few minutes, we heard ping pong, ping pong, pong. Then I told them the fire engines are coming.
Right.
Well, an eyewitness narrating to my colleague Gordon Asere about the incident that led to the fire outbreak at the Kwashiman cluster of schools that is housing ballot papers from the Ablekuma North constituency polls. Meanwhile, the Ghana National Fire Service says it is not ruling out arson. They say they are investigating the instances which resulted in the burning of the ballot papers and other critical items meant for the school. Alex Kinate is a member of the Public Relations Department of the Ghana National Fire Service.
Well, I can't draw the conclusion yet that it was because of the ballot boxes. Even though we can't rule it out that it could have been arson, but we don't want to quickly rush into conclusions. We still want to consider every possible cause of the fire. So when our team received the call, we quickly dispatched our team from Anya to proceed to the scene. Upon arriving, they realized the fire was well alight and was spreading. So they had to call for reinforcements. So we had to rely on our team from our national headquarters and from Circle to do well to put the situation under control. Our director of operations was there, our regional operations commander was there. That should show the level of prominence that we placed on the fire. Our utmost concern was that the fire had consumed the middle building, and there were other buildings flanking it. Our priority was to contain the fire from spreading to the unaffected buildings also. Unfortunately, where the fire started was the library, and the library is where they had kept the ballot boxes. And the ballot boxes are all very combustible materials. So any little spark, and looking at the weather that we are facing right now, the Harmattan, it makes the fires fully develop under such circumstances. So that's what accounted for it. But we did very well. The top floor, that's the computer lab, we were able to salvage the computers at the lab.
Alex Kenati, a member of the National Fire Service PR Department. Let's go to the Western region because the Second Takoradi Metropolitan Assembly is undertaking disinfection exercises at the hotspots within the metropolis to combat the outbreak of cholera. Meanwhile, the Ghana Health Service says it has successfully vaccinated a third of their target at the close of Monday. Irama Smith joins us from the Western region with more. Ira, if you can hear me, update us on the cholera situation now in the region and how the vaccination exercise is faring. It's been 3 days now. We have lost Irama. We'll work the phone and speak to her, who is our correspondent in the Western region, updating us on the update of that vaccination exercise by the Ghana Health Service in order to contain the outbreak of cholera in the area. Well, that will be all for our package for you this afternoon. We'll subsequently bring you Irama's interview and a lot more from Parliament. My name is Grace Hammoah Agyemang. Before I go, those stories we brought you as headlines: true outcome of the Ablekuma North constituency parliamentary results may never be known as fire destroys ballot papers for the disputed polls. The police have launched investigations into the incident. Meanwhile, the Ghana National Fire Service does not rule out arson. We heard from the team. Also, NDC files court application seeking to prevent Electoral Commission from recollating and redeclaring parliamentary results in 5 constituencies. And we told you why President-elect John Mahama says his government will re-engage the Millennium Challenge Corporation on resolving Ghana's energy crisis in a meeting with the U.S. Ambassador to Ghana. Many thanks for joining us. Log on to 3news.com and get some more stories. My name is Grace Hammoah Agyemang. Good afternoon.
Gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3 FM.
Well, hello there. Good afternoon and welcome to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7 with me, Michael Obudu. Coming up, calls intensify for incoming government to repeal e-levy following its disruption to customers and businesses. We'll hear from the Mobile Money Agents Association. Also, Bank of Ghana restores foreign currency trading license of Consolidated Bank Ghana after 1 month suspension over regulatory breaches. And US-based economist Dr. Saad Idrisu alleges deliberate revenue sabotage as President Kufuor seeks $350 million tax waivers before end of his tenure.
Granting over $350 million tax waivers to 40 businesses with barely 3 months to hand over power to the incoming administration, it raises suspicion.
These and many other stories coming up shortly. Please stay with us. And thank you so much for your time. Straight into our stories now. The Bank of Ghana has restored the foreign currency trading license of Consolidated Bank Ghana, CBG, effective December 4, 2024. This follows a 1 month suspension in November due to breaches of foreign exchange market regulations under Section 11(2) of the Foreign Exchange Act 2006. The following 3 Business News Desk report has the details.
The central bank, in its statement, indicated that CBG had implemented effective controls to ensure strict adherence to foreign exchange regulations, paving the way for the license's restoration. With this development, CBG says customers can now fully access foreign exchange services, including the buying and selling of foreign currencies, across all its branches nationwide. The bank, while expressing regret for any inconvenience caused, assured customers of its commitment to providing secure and compliant banking services. CBG added that it appreciates the patience and continued trust of its customers during the period of suspension. It further emphasized that it remains dedicated to working closely with regulators to uphold standards and deliver a differentiated banking experience to all stakeholders.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Now, various stakeholders, including mobile money agents, have intensified their calls for the Mahama-led administration to repeal e-levy, citing its negative impact on businesses and consumers. The Mobile Money Agents Association of Ghana, in a congratulatory message to President-elect John Dramani Mahama, highlighted that the scrapping of the tax handle will promote digital financial inclusion and stimulate economic growth. We are joined on the line by Secretary of the Association, Evans Otumfo, for more. Thank you so much for your time, Evans. Now, can you elaborate on how the e-levy has negatively impacted mobile money business and consumers alike?
Yes, thank you for having me. In fact, the current state of the mobile money industry hasn't been as it was previously, in the sense that as we speak now, we have a lot of our businesses collapsing. We have a lot of our members being displaced as a result of the implementation of the e-levy. The way our business operates, it is more on floating funds from one state, that is in the electronic form, into the physical form. And then we operate with the banks. And once our business accounts are linked with the bank, we have to be transferring float from our agent's account to the bank. In the process of doing all this, we experience e-levy being applied to it. And we understand that, yes, as business people, we need to pay tax. But what is currently happening with the e-levy on our business is not about tax payment. Rather, it is our capital that is being consumed day in, day out by the e-levy. So, as we speak now, business has actually gone down. Every digital payment that the agent is supposed to do, there's one form or two e-levy being applied to it. And all of these things has actually really gone bad with our businesses as we speak now. And so, as His Excellency the President-elect John Dramani Mahama has promised, and we believe that he will keep to that promise to scrap off the electronic transactions levy. And we believe when this is done, it is really going to project the industry. We are going to experience some exponential growth in the mobile money system, then general payment for goods and services will be enhanced. Because when it happens that way, also it means that the circulation of cash in the system will really come down, which in turn will help government achieve the financial inclusion drive and also the shift from cash to a cashless economy.
Interesting one there. Finally, before we let you go, beyond the e-levy, are there any other policies that you are hoping that the incoming government would implement to enhance the sector you work in?
Yes, as we speak now, proud to the political parties, submitting their working policy to Ghanaians. We have shared a number of proposals with the political parties and NDC also inclusive. One of our major requests now has to do with the fact that our businesses must be formalized so that it will, provide some form of sanity within our state. And that is the introduction of, a license to operate as a Momo operator, because we have a lot of people calling themselves as agents within the state. Meanwhile, they are engaging in illicit act, or they are more or less like fraudsters in the system. So we believe that when there is a clear regulation, the agent scope is being licensed, we believe that it will give us some leverage in terms of what we can demand and what we cannot demand, and what can be done and what cannot be done.
All right, Evans, thank you so much. We have to end it here. Evans Otufo is the Secretary of the Mobile Money Agents Association. Thank you so much for your time. And away from that, a US-based economist, Dr. Saad Idrisu, has accused President Akufo-Addo of deliberately sabotaging Ghana's revenue outlook by seeking parliamentary approval for over $350 million in tax waivers for 40 businesses allegedly affiliated with the NPP. Dr. Idrisu claims the move, coming just 3 weeks before the end of the president's term, aims to create a fiscal shortfall for the incoming NDC administration.
Tax waivers are mostly good for every economy. To businesses, if you grant tax waivers to businesses, it helps to stimulate business growth. However, granting over $350 million tax waivers to 40 businesses believed to be associated or affiliated with the MPP, with barely 3 months to hand over power to the incoming administration, it raises suspicion. And aside that, it is also a deliberate move by President Nana Addo and his government to deny the incoming administration under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama revenue, because there will be a revenue shortfall of $350 million. And I think the current minority in parliament and as well as Ghanaians should resist this move vehemently. It is not good for the economy.
You heard the US-based economist Dr. Saad Idrisu bringing an end to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more business stories, please visit our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe.